All right, so here's part 2, 1.1 part 2. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at some of the examples and just kind of go over what the second part holds. We did some of the initial 1 to 7 questions with just kind of basic skills. Let's take a look at some word problems and see how we can translate the word problem stuff into the formulas and sort of what we've learned yesterday. So, this one here, you can follow along and write down as much or as little of this in your notebook as you want. I'm just going to go through examples. If you want to just kind of like soak it in, that's fine. If you want to jot some of this stuff down, might be a good idea too. But the solutions are worked out in the text, okay? So I'm going to walk you through it instead of just telling you to look at the entire solution. Let's walk it through step by step. A visual and performing arts group wants to hire a community events leader. The person will be paid $12 for the first hour of work, $19 for 2 hours of work, and $26 for 3 hours of work, and so on. Write the general term that you could use to determine the pay for any number of hours worked. So really what we're looking for A is T of n. Now we know what our formula is. I wonder if we could use this formula. Well, we're given the first hour of work. That's T of 1. So T of 1 is 12. Can we find out the common difference here? Because we're given T of 2 and we're given T of 3. Whoops. Right? So what's the common difference here? Plus 7, plus 7. So D is 7. Okay? $7. Whatever. Let's write 7. Okay, so we're finding this. We don't know this. We know this. We know this. And we don't need to know n. That can stay in the equation. So we're good to go. So let's fill everything in and simplify. T of n is 12 plus n minus 1 times 7. We simplify that to T of n equals, okay, tell me if that looks acceptable to you. Okay, 5 plus 7n, 7n plus 5, doesn't matter what the order is. So what this means is, it looks like this person is going to get paid $7 per hour. You see that? That's the rate of change here. If we were to graph it, that would be the slope. Dollars per hour. So it looks like there's a $5 flat fee at the beginning, and then it's $7 after that. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. So that's A. B. What will the person get paid for 6 hours? That's really easy. Now we're looking for T of 6. So that's 5 plus 7 times 6. So T of 6 is, what's 7 times 6? 42. T of 6 is $47. So $47 for 6 hours of pay. You guys good with that? Okay. So that's example 1. Connecting sort of what we're given in a word problem with our formula. You know, what does D represent? What does the 7 represent? The 5, what does that represent, right? That's sort of the flat fee at the beginning and so on. Okay? Questions? Okay. We'll move on to example 3 here. So example 3, we're given a situation, and there's a couple different ways you could do example 3. And again, we'll do sort of the logical reasoning method like we did yesterday. I might show you the other method. I'm not sure if I'd lose some of you or if now's a good time to do that. But it's in your textbook, so we'll see once we get into it. But the situation is this. John has a part-time job at the grocery store. He's asked to create a display of cereal boxes. Looks something like this. The top 6 rows of his display are shown. This is the top 6. So there's more underneath. Okay, you see that? There's more underneath. But the pattern continues, okay, for the lower rows. The number of boxes in the rows produce an arithmetic sequence. Good to know. There are 16 boxes in the 3rd row from the bottom. So T of 3 equals 16. That's good to know. And 6 boxes in the 8th row. So T of 8 is 6. Is that right? 6. Okay. Can we find the one that has 6 here? Look at that. I think this one is the 6th row, right? So 2, 4, 6. So this is the 8th row, looks like. So 7, 6, 5. There's going to be 4, 3, 2, and 1 beneath that. Are we okay with understanding kind of where we're at the beginning? So how many boxes are in the bottom row? All right, now, you don't need to use any formulas if you don't want to. You could just go ahead and use logical reasoning and say, all right, I can count. Okay, so there's 6 here. It looks like I add 1 on each end to get the next row. So guess what? This is 6, this is 8, this is 10, this is 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. That's just using logic. I think that's the right answer. Yeah, that's using logic. Now, how do we do that? Using our formula. Okay, we can totally do this using the formula. So we're looking for T of 1, right? Okay, so let's say that we have the 16 boxes, and that's going to be with an n of 3. The common difference, if we start at row 1, we are subtracting 2 each time we go up. So there's your common difference, right, of negative 2. Each time you go up a row, you take 2 boxes off. So you could do this and solve for T of 1. 3 minus 1 is 2 times negative 2. Whoops, what am I doing there? Minus 4. So 20 is T of 1 when you add 4 to both sides. Okay, so logical reasoning, as well using the formula. That's probably as much as I'm going to show you. There is one more method that I'm not going to bother with. You can look at in the text if you want, but I think I might just kind of be throwing too much at you if I do that one. So that's for A. Okay, questions about that? Use the formula, use logical reasoning, whatever. Okay, so determine the general term for the sequence. So what do you need for the general term for the sequence? Well, it'd be good to have T1. We have that now. And we want to go T of n equals 20 plus n minus 1 times negative 2. So we'll simplify that. What's that going to be? Minus 2n plus 2. 22 minus 2n. Okay. And again, you can write these terms in any order that you wish. Okay. Okay, so that was B, general term. What's the number of rows of boxes in this, what is the number of rows of boxes in this display? What is the number of rows of boxes in this display? Oh, the whole number of rows? Really, is that what they're asking? Okay. Okay, they gave us the 8th row and we counted the 6. So we identified this as the 8th row, so guess what? There's 9, 10. That doesn't have to be that hard. Okay, so there's 10 rows of boxes. Okay, could we do that a different way? I suppose we could. Yeah, we could do that a different way. We could take our general formula, watch this. We could take our general formula and the top row will be the last row, right? So we got 1 and then the top row will be the last one. So if I know there's 2 boxes in the top row, the first one had 20, and then I want to know what number of row that is, I could set it up like this and I could solve for n. Or I could just use this T of n formula, right? So then you solve for n and n should be 10 there. Okay? So again, logical reasoning or the formulas, but this formula that we're studying here is awfully useful, right? So, I mean, this one right here, that's the one you keep coming back to. Okay, I think I've got one more example here. I might go over number 8 with you as part of your second part of the assignment there. But let's go over example 4, last example I'll do for today. Okay. So a furnace technician charges $65 for making a house call. There's that flat fee that we talked about, right? Flat fee. And $42 per hour or a portion thereof. So it's $42 an hour after that. And if it's 10 minutes, it's a portion of that 42, if it's whatever. So generate the possible charges, excluding parts and all stuff, for the first 4 hours of time. Okay. So for A, the first hour, so that would be after the guy's there for 1 hour, right? That's T of 1. So we've got 65 as a flat fee plus 42 times 1, right? It's plus 42 hours for that you got to pay him for the first hour. So that one is going to be what? 107. Okay. So you do that again. Now every hour you add what? 42 after that, right? So 107, and then 42, 149, right? Add 42. Add 42, 191, 231. Check my mental math for me, please. 42. Whoa, not 31. 33. Okay, is that good? All right, so those are the first 4 possible charges. Again, double check if I'm wrong, let me know. Because I can't be bothered with a calculator most of the time. It's a character fault of mine. So, going back to, now we're looking at B. What's the charge of 10 hours? I don't know about you guys, but I'm thinking about the general term formula long before I'm thinking even of A there. Let me tell you what I mean. At this point, you might be thinking, hey, I think I got an idea of a $65 flat fee plus $42 per hour. That looks an awful lot like a general term formula. So I don't know, my mind went there right away. It's not asking for a general term formula, but it's kind of helping you lead up to that. But isn't this the general term formula? If you put a 1 in there, it's 65 plus 42. If you put a 2 in there for the second hour, it's 65 plus 84. It's 149, so on. Okay? So if you're thinking about this right away, that's great. Because that makes B quite easy, doesn't it? So for 10 hours, you could keep adding 42 a whole bunch of times if you want. Or you could say, hey, how do I use this general term formula? And go T of 10 is 65 plus 42 times 10. So that's 420, 485. Okay. So, yeah, 45. That's true. Okay. So hopefully we're kind of centering around, the formula A. Logical reasoning. Don't be afraid to just kind of work it out in your head and think of it a different way, if that helps you. Yeah. Any questions? No questions? You guys are all right? You guys tense or are you loose? Tense? Or are you okay? Is this overwhelming? Anybody crying right now? Let's see. I don't see anybody crying. Boys, are you okay over there? Not crying? Okay. All right. Okay. Let me help you with number 8 real quick, because apparently this is the one I had planned here before I set you off here. So, which arithmetic sequence contains the term 34? I just kind of took this one and thought that I'd just kind of do this one with you. So, which arithmetic sequence or sequences contain the term 34? So, I guess one big thing here that you want to notice is that the n cannot be a decimal or a fraction or anything, right? So n is 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 because it's the term number, right? So it's the first term or the second or third or fourth. It has to be a whole number. So if you put 34 as this number right here and you solve for n, if you get a whole number, then it's in the list. If you solve for n and you get some kind of decimal, then it's not in the list. Does that make sense? Okay, so let me just show you how that works. 6 plus n minus 1 times 4. So 34 equals 6 plus 4n minus 4. Okay, so 6 minus 4 is 2. So this is going to be minus 2 is 32 equals 4n. N is 8. So because that's a whole number, it appears that 34 is part of this sequence. Okay? 2 minus 2. Okay, I skipped a few steps there, but I think they got that right. Make sense? So solve for n, or in this case, I mean, this case you could use your formula, right? 34 is t of n for number C, letter C. 34 is t of n. This is t of 1. This is d. Solve for n. Okay, it just doesn't give you the formula, that's all. And this one, you could do logical reasoning and just keep counting up and see if it's on there, or you could use the formula. So that's just number 8 I thought was like, what do you do with that? So I just want to make sure you knew that n has to be a whole number. Okay? A natural number, technically. Okay? Questions? I've waited my required 3-second time to allow for an answer. Is it still 3 seconds? Mr. Simon, my intern?
Yeah.
Is it still 3 seconds? That's what it was like when the dinosaurs roamed the earth when I was learning. So wait for 3 seconds after you answer a question, because a lot of teachers ask a question and then they move on real quick and students don't have time to even process the question. So, all right. All right, here are the key ideas. I'll try and throw those up at the end of every lesson for you in the textbook. And yeah, if there's anything on this, so here's another routine that I want to establish with you. If there's anything on this list right here, the key ideas, anything that you think that I didn't talk about or that you don't understand from what I did talk about, if there's anything you need clarification on, feel free to ask, okay? But that's kind of why I put that up there. Read over every term. It's like, yeah, okay, I get that. Yeah, we did that today. I understand that. Okay. If there's anything you don't get from this list, ask me about it. Okay? And then the rest of your assignment is right here. 8, 9, 11, and 17. And you may go ahead and get started on that anytime.